What's up, guys? I'm Max, and I'm here with Tanner.
Yes, he is.
And this is episode 36 of The Rabbit Hole.
You threw me off there for a second, because usually we do, like, a mic test.
Oh, yeah, I already did that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
You were just, like, talking, and I hit record.
He usually do a mic test, and he was just, like, just started, and I was like, whoa, whoa, where's my warm-up?
You already had it, man.
Gotta do those voice warm-ups that... Is it singers that do them or actors?
I feel like you're just
like
any performing art.
The unique New York thing.
Unique.
I got it
New York,
from fucking what's that movie with Will Ferrell? It's Anchorman.
Oh,
that one.
Yeah.
I like totally blanked there. I was like seeing Ron Burgundy in my head, but couldn't think of the name.
See the Ron Burgundy, be the Ron Burgundy.
Yes, but episode 36.
Yeah,
we're here.
We're here. We're alive. We're
1
thriving.
year plus 10.
Plus 10.
Yeah.
36 does have a 3 in it, which is a lucky number, so...
Didn't we talk about this? Is 3 a lucky number?
So you take off the 0, and then you add it to the 6, and there's a 7, so...
I'll take that.
I'm pretty sure 3 is a lucky number.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like we had this discussion when it was 33.
Maybe.
And you were like, 3's a lucky number, and I was like, the only one I know is 7.
Yeah, for sure. I thought 3...
It might be.
I don't fucking know. I thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
Dude, it could be.
All right.
Not sure.
Well, you guys know what's up next. Follow us on Instagram at the.rabbitholepod. There you can find our links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, which is mostly up to date.
Hey, it's coming along.
It's coming along.
Yeah. It's better than last time.
Way better than last time.
Already doing better.
Yeah.
So you can't complain too much.
Yeah. Speaking of that, tell me what you're drinking.
I am drinking a classic Jack and Coke.
Cheers.
What do you got, good sir?
I'm a changed man. I am coming into this episode. I'm drinking water. It is 2022. We're going to be healthy this week. And honestly, alcohol is a tool of the devil, and drinking is bad.
Yeah, do you want to tell them why you're drinking water? Because we know there's a reason. It's none of that stuff.
I blink twice if you're in trouble.
right.
No, I got my wisdom teeth out, so if my face just starts like falling off, that's why. But I feel fine for the most part. Just kind of like a dull headache. So
have you heard the shit like the whole dry January thing?
Yeah.
Is that always a thing, or was that a thing this year?
I had some friends who tried to do it last year.
Okay.
And they were like, "Yeah, we did dry January," but there was like a couple days where they were like, "This doesn't count. It's like for an event."
Right. That's what everyone with an addiction says.
One of them, it's really funny. They were like die hard, like, yes, dry January, like we're doing it.
Yeah.
They had just gotten hired at like a gym, so they were like just kind of like
really
jumping into the
fitness.
deep end and fitness, and they made it like a week and a half.
That's not very long.
No, it's not.
To be fair, I always like tell myself, I'm like, okay, I don't drink during the week. That's how I know I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But then I always drink when we record this, and that's always during the week.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's for an event.
Only every other week.
Yeah, it's for an event. That counts. That's fine.
I don't drink alone.
That's true.
I do hang on to that one.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll be like, consider like having a glass of wine by myself on my room, and I'm like, that just doesn't sound as much fun.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, like it doesn't taste as good.
Yeah.
I'll be like playing video games, like, should I have some wine? I'm like, nah. Because what would be the point?
Yeah, I'm gonna get schmammered and go to sleep by myself and then wake
Unless
up
we were playing
work.
like Warzone when we did Drunk Zone.
That was so fun.
That was insane.
That was a great time.
We also all played fucking amazing for like...
We did.
We got past it when we all started playing terrible.
Yeah,
but it was kind of like...
There was a peak.
It was kind of like drinking games where like, you're past tipsy, but you're not blacked. In like a perfect zone of like, everything's fluid and everything's
everything's just
instinct.
Smoother.
Yeah, and we all played insanely good. And then like, we had like 2 games of that, and then it was a shit show. And it was like, there's bullets. I don't know where they're coming from. I was going to hide in a corner, and then you get shot from somewhere. Like, stuff got nuts.
It worked out.
It did.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Should we jump into the actual episode?
I think we should.
Because we don't know how long it's going to be.
Oh, shit, we forgot to mention. I should start, like, writing that in our, like,
you have
intro
it
breakdown.
right here. Might be a shorter episode. We have no fucking clue.
Oh, yeah.
I think you wrote that, right?
So, yeah. There you go.
There was a while when we had like a might be short, might be long. Who the fuck knows? Like
yeah, and then
same idea.
Yeah.
Page wise, this is shorter than normal.
True.
But I think we had one of those. Well, we've had page wise that are way longer and they go normal, and we've had ones that are average that go really long.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Do you want to intro or do you want me to intro?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really have any like creative intro, but we are going to talk about the black-eyed kids or black-eyed children. I don't know how many people have heard of them, but if you have, creepy as fuck.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
So I'm super excited to sleep at night.
We can also say BEKs.
BEKs, yeah. I wanted to
if we want to, yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying
from here on
throughout
out,
the
I
rest of the
can say,
episode,
yeah.
you can. I don't always, but I sometimes do.
Yeah.
In what I typed, at least.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'd type it out, and sometimes I'd put BEK. Mm-hmm. It just depended on how tired my fingers were.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I'll give a brief overview. Basically, the kids are just evil.
That's true.
And then that sometimes there's like worse kids, and then they knock on your door and demand to be let in, and their eyes are like just
Black.
empty.
Yes. Yeah.
And then very bad things happen once you interact with them.
Yeah.
That was a terrible introduction.
It's fine because we have a different setup. We're gonna have what's gonna happen here is Max is gonna do a story or like an encounter, I guess we could call him.
Yes.
An encounter as like a kind of like a taste. Well,
Yeah,
not that
like
it's not
a
that it's
preview.
short, right? But like you have that, and then like I have a small section of what they are. But again, like a lot of these things, it's not like it's crazy long.
You know what this is? This is going to be a cold open, a record scratch freeze frame. Ooh. You're probably wondering how I got here. And then we're going to back it up, back, and then jump forward again.
Right.
There's reminds me of that scene from The Other Guys where that like rich fuck is trying to like break down. So I found like the best way to tell a story is maybe to like start with the end, but then like start back at the beginning,
and then go to the middle.
Maybe like briefly reference pieces in the beginning, and then go to the middle, and then go to the end again. They're just like, fucking tell it.
That is a really funny scene, actually. That's a great movie.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's 2 Will Ferrell references.
It is.
And he's an awesome actor.
I wonder how many I can squeeze in before the end of this episode.
Probably a lot. He's an iconic actor of our time. I mean, he's older than us, but like a lot of his like famous movies have come like while we've been alive.
Yeah, like he hit it big kind of around the time that we started like getting into
like
film
he's our generation in the sense of his movies, not in the sense of like him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably his comedy.
I think a lot of that's usually how that goes, is because you like grow up watching one generation of actor,
right?
And then they're kind of like staggered.
Yeah, they're actually older than you.
Yeah,
and like the ones that are your age, you're like, these fucking kids suck.
Yeah,
like they're so annoying. Like that's like TikTokers now.
Yeah,
not all TikTokers, but like some are like fucking rich and famous, and it's like you don't do shit.
No,
but they're our age. Like,
yeah, it's kind of depressing. I don't want to think about it. Anyway,
yeah.
Should we just
you can go ahead and jump into
your
first story here.
All right. Well, so as far as I can tell, this is the first encounter. Mm-hmm. Everything for some reason is just like it's not that well documented. I think because there's not as big of like a headline factor.
Yeah, this isn't like UFOs or I don't know, like some other examples like that kind of shit. It's a little bit more low-key, I guess.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, this is one of the first ones, or the first one. And it also kind of brings up the point where this is kind of like a recent phenomenon as far as like the paranormal goes. A
little bit.
So in Abilene, Texas, in 1996, in the spring or summer of 1996, again, so a man named Brian Bethel was telling the story, and he couldn't remember specifically, but he noted that he was wearing shorts. Okay. So, spring or summer of 1996.
But it's Texas, though.
Yeah, but I assume they're bitches like Californians.
That's
where
true.
Like the second it drops below 60, it's like Grey Goose
Bundle
jackets.
Up. Yeah, fair enough.
Canada Goose
jackets, yeah.
So, Brian Bethel was having as ordinary of a night as you can imagine. He had gone down to Camelot Communications to pay his internet bill with a check, which is a really old-fashioned sentence.
No kidding, dude.
And Camelot was one of the area's original internet providers. It was near a movie theater. It was like in a strip mall. So he parked in front of the movie theater, and he was using the lights from the marquee to write out a check.
God, this is an old fucking story.
Right?
Jesus.
And my jaw hurts.
Okay.
So he was writing out his check when somebody knocked on his car window, which is unusual, but like it happens.
Probably more often back then, too.
Yeah, probably.
I would think.
Yeah, and so obviously he was taken off guard, but he looked up and saw 2 young boys, and he guessed between 9 and 12 years old.
It's a good thing he wasn't a Catholic priest then. I also want you to know I didn't read this beforehand. The moment you said 2 boys, 9 and 12 years old, that was the first thing that popped in my mind.
easiest way to get the EKs running from you.
Just a Catholic.
Just hold up the cross and then bolt.
Yeah. He's like, he holds up, you guys can get in. I'm like, well, actually.
Oh, actually. No.
We don't.
Here, let me throw down some blankets.
Like, never mind.
No, we're good.
It's the real evil in this world.
Oh, yeah.
Black-eyed kids are fine. Catholic priests.
I wonder who would win in a cage match.
Well, what's the goal?
Just who comes out okay.
Okay. I don't know. Because I don't know what black-eyed kids do when they get a hold of you.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You said you found one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have not read a single... Because I read a bunch. And I didn't read a single one where like anything actually happened.
Yeah. Okay. We'll give more context.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'm excited.
Yeah. So 2 kids, 9 and 12. And I don't know how people guess these things. Like he might have had kids. I don't know.
Like ages of people?
Yeah, I'm terrible at fucking guessing how old kids are. Like,
Okay.
I think toddlers are maybe.
Well, as long as you
about
know 18, then you're fine. is what I'll say.
Fair enough.
Yeah. As long as you know like either below 18 or above 18, that's like the threshold that legally matters.
Yeah.
For you not to go to jail.
Yeah, like if I don't know, if some kid knocked on my door though, I honestly like have no idea how old this kid is. But
Fair
anyway,
enough.
9 and 12.
9 and 12. Okay.
This is such an unnecessary point to get stuck up on.
People
anyway.
do know though. I will give you that.
Yeah.
People are like
I don't
way better at
understand.
that than me.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, they look 6, and I'm like, they look between 3 and 15.
Yeah, exactly.
One of in there.
So
Continue, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, thank you. So Brian never heard them approach or anything. Just all of a sudden they were there, and so these kids were wearing hoodies and just like standing next to his car, just looking at him. So they knocked and just kind of like stared in,
Okay.
and so he was taken off guard, but there wasn't like any sense of urgency or anything. Like they weren't.
Okay.
They were
kind of like chilling.
just chilling, and it was weird.
Okay.
And he cracked the window open a little bit to see what they wanted, expecting to like be asked for money or something. Maybe like to buy a movie ticket or snacks or something. And the second he opened the window, he was immediately gripped by an incomprehensible, soul-racking fear.
Yeah.
The second he opened up the window.
Interesting.
They were standing there, nothing. The second
Right.
he opened up the window, then that's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened there.
I don't either. That was weird. Oh, we didn't have it playing.
Do something. Okay.
That's interesting.
And
So technical difficulties for me watching on
Whatever.
camera. If
Yeah.
you're listening, don't
then
worry
we're
about it.
probably...
Then go look at the.
We're
Then go
probably
watch
at the
it.
same level of comprehension that we would be anyway.
That's true.
And anyway, so the second he opens up this window, he's immediately gripped by soul-racking fear. And he had no idea why. One boy was described as, quote, somewhat suave, olive-skinned, and a curly-headed young man. Maybe this dude is a priest.
Yeah, fuck. Shit.
And-
I spoke too soon.
And the other was a pale redhead with freckles.
Ugly little bitch. He's like, that one was suave, that one was ginger.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
those are
exactly
two
how that description sounded,
descriptions.
yeah. And so the first boy wasn't necessarily in charge, but he was definitely more assertive.
The suave one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did the talking,
Was he the 12-year-old as well?
presumably.
Okay.
I
didn't know if it
I'm gonna
said
say
it.
presumably. He didn't specify which one was which.
Gotcha.
And the redhead kind of stayed behind him and followed the lead. So in interviews after, Brian started referring to the first as the spokesman.
Okay.
Simply because he did the talking.
Sure.
And the spokesman told Brian that he and the other kid needed a ride. Brian was told that they wanted to see a movie, Mortal Kombat, which had just come out,
Okay, fair enough.
and had left the money at their mother's house, and that they wanted Brian to drive them back to get the money.
Okay.
Which I guess is plausible enough, but definitely sus.
It's weird.
Like, that's just kind of that order of operations. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
yeah.
Something about it just seems like off.
Yeah.
Like it's almost plausible, but not quite.
Yeah, there's just something weird about it.
Right.
And throughout the exchange, the overwhelming sense of dread that Brian had not only continued, but grew. And he had no idea why. There wasn't anything like threatening about these kids. It was just subconscious and like something is definitely wrong. Like one of those feelings where your hair on the back of your neck just stands up.
Right. Like instinct, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And he was a fully grown man, and this was just a pair of 9 and 12-year-old boys, but he was terrified. And at some point in the conversation, he looks up at the theater marquee and then down at the clock in his car and realized that the last showing of Mortal Kombat had already started, meaning that by the time they made it home and back, even if it was nearby, then it would probably be at the very least like halfway over, if not
Right.
almost over.
Right.
And at that point, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So the whole time, the spokesman was just uttering reassurances, like things like, "Oh, it won't take that long. We're just two kids." He also added,
Sounds like they're trying to rape him.
"Yeah,
We're just two kids.
revenge."
What's that? I don't remember what the movie is, like Benjamin Button's disease, where you get like you look younger as you get older.
Oh yeah, yeah.
These kids are like 50, trying to kill him.
They also added that they didn't have a gun or anything, which I guess you just have to say in Texas, like, don't worry, I don't have
As
a gun.
a 9-year-old though? Maybe in Texas too. I don't fucking know what goes on down there.
And yeah, so just trying to convince him that it's okay.
Right.
And he was really like digging his heels in. He wasn't like getting aggressive, but at what kind of, it was past the point of like, dude, just give up. Like,
Right,
move
like
on.
I said no, like
Yeah.
let's just go.
Yeah, and I swear I need to get this tattooed. This is where it gets weird. Brian noticed his hand had strayed towards the lock on his door subconsciously, and he pulled it away.
To unlock it?
Yeah, to unlock it.
Okay.
And he pulled it away, and it may have been a little bit too suddenly because at that point, he said, quote, "In the short time I had broken the gaze of the spokesman, something had changed, and my mind exploded in a vortex of all-consuming terror." End
Okay.
quote.
That's quite a quote.
It is, yeah. So in an interview later on, Brian said, quote, "Both boys stared at me with coal black eyes, the sort of eyes one sees these days on aliens or bargain basement vampires on late night television.
Okay.
Soulless orbs like two great swaths of starless night."
Is this dude a poet?
I don't know. His vocabulary
Yeah,
is
like, he's, like,
way past anything I would expect from a TV
Yeah, his
interview.
quotes are just like, you really thought about
He
that.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
it feels like he had it like written down.
Yeah. And apparently, I didn't have this written down, but apparently, like in the local area, he became almost like an instant celebrity. Like his story really caught on. It was published in newspapers. He did a couple TV interviews, and he got really sick of it really fast. So I almost imagine like
Dude was
he
just
had
trying
these-
to pay his fucking electricity bill or whatever it was. Internet bill.
Yeah. He drove to the store to pay his internet bill with a check, which is very.
It was almost
old-fashioned
molested
sentence.
by 2 children.
Yeah. But it almost sounds like he had time to just like get these quotes down pat, like
Right,
run in,
like, he
cash
probably-
out,
yeah.
and leave. But he got sick of it, so now he used to be like really enthusiastic about it, and now he like doesn't respond to anything online and things like that. Yeah. Anyway,
We should email him.
that'd be a good one.
Ask him to fucking be on the podcast. I'm
Bring him
sure he's
on.
heard that a million times.
Yeah, you want to come to California?
Right.
Just 2 dudes drinking water.
Yeah, from water.
And anyway, so the quote goes on, and he said, "I did what any rational person would do. I full on freaked out inside while trying to appear completely sane and calm. The aura of fear was now a palpable black hanging thing, almost as if reality itself were warping around me." End quote. So he apologized to the 2 kids, trying to make every excuse that came to mind, really just trying to end the conversation and get out of there. And he put his hand on the gear shift and put the car into reverse, apologizing the whole time.
Just like he's just beggars. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I was like,
So sorry, guys.
my bad.
Watch your feet, sorry.
Yeah,
And
Canadian.
and he thinks that his fear was evident because at that point the boy in the back, the redhead, had a visible look of confusion, and the spokesman immediately grew very angry and started banging on the window as Brian rolled it up. He was full of anger, and what he said still echoes in Brian's mind today. The spokesman said, quote, "We can't come in unless you tell us it's okay. Let us in." End quote. And at that point, Brian pulled out of the parking lot and sped out. And as he was driving through the parking lot, he looked back in his rearview mirror, and both boys were gone. And he told the interviewer that even if they'd run, the parking lot was open enough where there was no place that they could have hidden from view that
Right,
quickly.
like he would have been able to see him either
Yeah.
way. That's weird.
Yeah. So nothing super dramatic happened at that, but that's the first real known encounter.
Yeah. So, if you're now intrigued, I will go over some like general stuff, like a little background and all that. So like we said, you can call them black-eyed kids, black-eyed children, BEKs. I think those are kind of all the only names for them. There might be others, but like those are the main 3. They're
Timmy down the street.
Timmy down the street.
I don't know.
They're like specifically
Kid.
an American paranormal phenomenon. At least that's so. Maybe there's like another name for them in other like countries, but everything tends to happen here with this. So I kind of find that interesting. And they're typically they look like kids between 6 and 16, roughly.
Okay.
Like it's I've seen a couple that like kind of ventured out of that. Like I've seen like 4. I don't know if I've ever seen older than
That's
16.
really young.
Yeah, like the one had like I don't know. They travel in pairs a lot too. I don't know about your other
Yep,
one.
I've
But
usually,
they're
usually heard pairs.
Usually in pairs. They tend to have pale skin, but apparently this suave one had olive skin. It's been spending some time on the Italian coast.
Yeah, Brian looked a little too long in him.
Yeah. And obviously they always have black eyes, just like the whole eye is just straight black. Like if you've ever seen like movies with demons, like their eyes like black, that's kind of what these are supposed to look like essentially.
Yep.
So they're normally seen either like hitchhiking, begging, just coming up to people in like areas like that, like out in public, but sort of secluded in a way.
Like
he was alone in the parking lot.
Yeah, you're not necessarily in like a desolate environment, but you're the only one around.
Right. And then another one is like they will just come up and like knock on people's doors in like residential areas.
Yep.
So those are kind of the main ones at least. So the main thing is like they can't come in without being invited. Sort of like the vampire lore.
Yeah, it seems like every story they're looking to join you in whatever space you're in. So
right.
Ryan, it was the car. I don't know what else you talk about, but I'm going to talk about one where two kids are asking to come inside somebody's house to like call their parents.
Yeah. that's a big one.
Ask for something, and it involves like
letting them into some arbitrary
boundary.
Right. Like a car in this sense.
Yeah.
And the kid literally said it in yours, like, you have to tell us we can come in or like something like that.
Like they need permission.
Yeah. That's like a big one. And another one that I see a lot is that animals tend to be able to sense things quicker than we do, and they do not like them.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't experienced anything with that.
Yeah. So there was, the one I have kind of has that a little bit, but I read a couple other ones I didn't put down because they were just like not as interesting. Where like same thing though, like, and like a dog for instance would like tweak the moment, like it would be like one of the kids would say be at the door, hadn't knocked yet, no doorbell, and the dog's already like freaking out, like it like can sense it essentially, kind of like the fear that this dude had, but like we kind of know that animals tend to have that quicker than we do because they have to, because dead to survive in the wild, not domesticated dogs, but they kind of still have the instinct. Some of them are just fucking idiots.
Anything smaller than 20 pounds is not a dog.
So, some sources claim there have been sightings of BK since like the 80s, but the first documented story is the one that you just read from 1996. That's
96.
Yeah, 96.
Okay. I thought you said 86.
Oh, maybe I did. 96 is what I meant.
I don't know. Maybe I'm deaf.
So yeah, some stuff says 80s, but like there's no stories that you can find really from the 80s.
Okay.
So yeah, most stories point to that being like the first like official one, if that's what you want to call it. Although the idea of like childlike monsters goes back really far. Like,
sure, it's just childlike monsters and not just children.
No, well, because back in the day, children weren't monsters because the parents could beat them. I'm not saying that's right or wrong.
I'm not saying there's.
I'm not just saying
that's why. I'm just saying there's a correlation.
Just saying they weren't shitty because there was actual consequences. But yeah, so that kind of goes back. But the black eye thing specifically started in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's like a little bit of overlap there because, like, again, like monsters that resemble children is not a new thing.
Right.
But the black eyes part kind of is. But no one actually knows like where this really started. Like that story was the first one, but no one knows like how the like what the fuck.
No.
Like is that the first time anybody's ever seen one?
It just showed up one day.
Exactly.
And everyone's like, I guess this is a thing now.
Yeah. So there's also like a very big theme of people feeling uneasy or like really scared for no reason, like kind of like what your dude was saying.
How I feel in my own bedroom all the time.
Because your fucking hallway with no door.
I should one of these days I should just do like give a house tour of my bedroom.
Yeah, it's
like
just
what I see
just
when
show
I'm walking
that though.
In it.
Yeah.
The black hole that is that hallway.
Yeah. I feel like I could set up a really good prank there, but that also seems really cool.
I would burn this whole house down.
But yeah, so that's like a theme in a lot of the stories is that the people are like, I don't know why, but I was scared of my fucking mind, even though it was like two children.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even
like,
before they'd seen the eyes.
Yeah, like Brian made a point to bring that up. It's like, I am a full-grown man in a car, and these are a pair of 9 and 12-year-old boys.
And also, kind of like what happened to your guy, a lot of like subconscious physical actions take place. Like your guy was about to unlock his car for no reason.
Yep.
That something similar happens in mine as well. Like in a lot of the other ones I read, same idea. They'd be like, oh, I was like unlocking the door and I didn't even realize it, or like I was, getting closer to them and didn't even like notice it, type of thing. That's another like big thing that seems to happen to pretty much everyone, is that like they're doing things and don't realize they're doing them that would help let the kids in, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. So some people say that these are like maybe ghosts or demons or vampires. that kind of thing, like stuff that already exists, just like another form of it.
Sure.
Another big theory is actually that they are offspring of alien-human like mating, so like a hybrid of aliens and humans.
Heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big one. And then one that I didn't really see very often in here, but have seen before, is that they're like somehow connected to the Men in Black. But no one really, like, I've not seen like a full-on discussion about it, but that's like one thing that I've heard on some other podcasts I've listened to, that there's, and I've read some stuff, not on this one because I was looking for stories, but before when I was looked it up, like maybe even 2 years ago, when I listened to an episode of it on another podcast, and they were talking about how there's a lot of like talk about how apparently they're in some way connected to the Men in Black, partially because of like the subconscious effect they have on you.
Sure.
Because the Men in Black have that as well.
Yeah.
Where like you feel like really uneasy and like you might just do shit and not really realize you're doing it type of thing. So like they're like, are they just their kids? I don't fucking know. But like somehow connected. That's really the background of them. Okay. Because obviously 96, like, it's not a ton of history to it.
Yeah.
This story was kind of just the first story, and it came out of sort of nowhere. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely, like, basically just a lot of themes that came up in yours, that come up in most stories with that kind of stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll get into my story now.
All right, lay it on me.
Yeah. So I found this on Reddit.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. But it wasn't like a made-up Reddit story. So it was like, well, it was technically a website I found it on. There was like a conglomeration of Black Eyed Kids stories from Reddit. Okay. But they were like not on like the, what do they call it, creepypasta shit? Yeah. Yeah, they weren't like those. Okay. Where like they're made up. They like, they made sure to be like, I'm not making this up, I swear to God. I know this is Reddit, but I'm being serious for once ever on Reddit. Someone was being serious. Yeah, so...
I know how this looks, but...
I know it's Reddit, but I swear to God. So, there was a girl, her name is Sarah. She said it actually happened to her. So we got that out of the way. She also made sure to mention that, like, before this, she didn't believe in any sort of paranormal stuff whatsoever. Okay. Like, not, like, ghosts, not any of that. So, this whole thing was, she was like, what the fuck, essentially. For a couple reasons, because she didn't believe in it. And, like, all the stuff that happens to your mind, she was like, whoa. Because assuming, like, you don't believe, you probably also haven't looked that much into it either. And she'd never heard of BEKs before either. So that's kind of a... I don't know, I think that's a good thing. Because then someone could, like, attribute it to being a BEK if it wasn't, if they'd heard of it before. Like, well, that was just probably a Black Eyed Kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, this took place on Halloween. She didn't actually mention a year. The post I found was from 2021, but I don't think it happened in 2021 because it's like people were just out trick-or-treating like normal. Like COVID stuff.
So, like, 10 years ago.
Maybe like 2019. Yeah. Could have been from way longer ago.
From the before 4.
Yeah. But the before 4. Is that from something? Is that Rick and Morty?
No, I think it's like a spin-off. The Solar Opposites.
Okay, I don't know what that is. You know what I'm talking about though? The Rick and Morty episode where they go to like Mad Max.
Yeah. I think you're
right. And
he
talks like a child.
Yeah.
Is that from that? The before 4?
Yeah, I think so.
It's something like before the Boom Boom or whatever.
The before 4. I think it's like in the before 4. Mm-hmm. I think in Solar Opposites there's a similar thing, but it's like before the wall because these aliens like trap people, shrink them down, and then they have like a terrarium in their wall, and they put all the people in them, and so there's like a whole civilization inside the wall, and it's like, oh, what were you before the wall?
Right.
But yeah, I think before 4, you're right. I think it is Rick and Morty.
Okay.
When they're in like the Badlands.
Yeah, the like Mad Max spin-off or rip-off, whatever you want to call it. Anyways. So sometime, I don't know when it was, but probably not during COVID.
Yep.
Because they also answered the door. Oh, who does that now? Not fucking me. I hear the doorbell. I'm like, I'm going to wait 5 minutes.
I hear the doorbell. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
I'm like, they're probably delivering something, and I'll go get it when they're gone.
We're either getting a package or somebody like wants something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and if they want something, I don't want to fucking talk to them because we have a lot of people come through here. Like, maybe I don't know if canvassing's the right word.
Yeah, like door-to-door salesman.
Yeah, they're also that, and there's also like other shit. I never talked to them, but like I think they're at one point at least they're doing like political shit. I don't know if they are now.
Yeah.
But I never answered the door.
The worst part is like when they're asking like, "Hey, we're like installing solar panels down the way. Like, can we interest you in getting set up for this?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't own this house."
Right,
like,
right.
It's easier for both of us if you just spend your time talking to somebody else.
Literally go away.
Yeah.
So okay, like I said, it was Halloween, and apparently it had been a slow trick or treating night in the neighborhood Sarah was living at the time. Which she said, so that was like maybe it is COVID, but then she was like, "But that's odd though." And I was like, oh, because it's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
Yeah.
Pre
yeah.
and post COVID.
So she said it was pretty odd because usually like that specific neighborhood was pretty popular for trick-or-treating, and like with kids coming from other areas and that type of stuff, we all had those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Like, everybody would go to them even if they didn't live there because they had like fucking solid ass candy.
Yeah.
Like full Snickers bars.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. So yeah, it was slow, and she was like, that's weird. And Sarah and her husband had only actually had so her husband was there too. Sarah and her husband. Just want to get that out. Never said his name though. Okay. So it's just the husband. They had only had a few groups of kids come to the door that night, like less than 10 groups.
Okay.
Which again, for a popular like neighborhood is weird. 10 groups is very low. Usually it's like you can't fucking sit down in those like types of areas. So around 9:30 p.m. they were sitting in the living room watching a ghost show that, says it's based on true events, that kind of stuff. Even though Sarah didn't believe in it, apparently she liked watching those.
Okay.
I guess maybe you like them if you don't believe in it because they don't scare you, but also like other people like them because they do scare them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just for the entertainment factor.
Yeah. So since it was a slow night, they decided to turn off the porch light. And their dog was also like crated up because when they opened the door to give the kids candy, like he'd want to bolt or like hug the kids, so their dog was crated up. And they were like, okay, we'll let the dog out of the crate, turn off the porch light, like no more kids at our door anymore, right? The dog's name is Chloe, just for reference, because I'll probably be using it. And it was an American bulldog, but was actually very docile. So there's that. The husband went upstairs around 10 p.m. because he had to be up early the next day for fucking something.
Okay.
They also had a teenage son who was at a haunted house, so he wasn't expected back until like 11 or so. So it's just Sarah and the dog.
Real late.
Yeah. So husband's upstairs, teenage son's gone, Sarah and Chloe sitting on the couch. So she did say that watching the ghost shows alone kind of put her on edge.
Okay.
Even though she didn't believe in it, like, and fair enough.
Yeah.
And a bit after the husband went upstairs, there was a knocking at her door. So it's probably a little after 10. So she was confused. Like, her initial reaction was, like, confusion. She's like, porch light's off. It's after 10.
That's also, like, I feel like a reasonable cutoff for trick-or-treaters, too. Like,
I think it's usually earlier.
Yeah. That'd be, like, definitely towards the end. At, like, 10 o'clock, if somebody knocked on my door, I'd be like, okay, really?
Like, I think it's, at least the ones that I was in as a kid, like, there was a time.
Oh,
that they were, like, at 9, like, it's over.
Oh, our neighborhood, it would just, like, trickle out and kind of wind down.
People would do it beforehand, but there was like an agreed upon time within the neighborhood that they were like, this is when we're done. I think, and usually like 8 or 9.
Ours would just like kind of fizzle out, like probably 9-ish.
There was other ones like that, but like the big ones were like, okay, this is when we're done.
Okay.
Like everybody should kind of put their lights off at the same time, like all, and the people were like, yeah, we're going home.
Okay.
So 10 definitely seems late, even a little after 10. So yeah, she was like, kind of like, what the fuck's going on? Like weird for trick-or-treaters to still be out. Like it's after 10 p.m. But whatever. So this confused feeling, though, quickly changed to a very uneasy feeling. Kind of like what you were saying. But she had the, like, distinct thoughts. She was like, there's no reason I should feel uneasy about this.
Yeah.
But she did. Like, she was like, I'm uncomfortable. This is weird for some reason. So Sarah also made a point to say, like, the doorbell glowed in the dark.
Okay.
Basically saying,
wow,
like...
it had a ring light.
No, I don't think it was a ring light. I think like the fucking button like was a glow in the dark button. Okay. Yeah, I don't think it was a ring light. So she basically was saying like it's weird that they wouldn't ring the doorbell because the porch light was off, so like they can see it clearly.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that was like something she mentioned. Maybe that's normal. I don't ring doorbells very often. Maybe if it was like, I guess, getting off track a little bit here, but if it was like someone you know, not a trick or treater, it's weird to knock. Like if I go up to somebody's like a friend's house like at 10 p.m. like I'll probably ring the doorbell if the like the lights off. Trick or treaters all kind of knock. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna weigh in on this one. I don't feel strongly about that.
At least that's how like if you're going trick or treating, you knock on the door. You don't ring the doorbell when you're trick or treating, do you? I don't.
I feel like I never really distinguished.
Okay.
The difference. Right. Okay.
I'm trying to like rationalize why she felt it was necessary to point that out.
Okay.
You know, that's what I'm like trying to figure out. Like, she made a point to say like we had a glow in the dark doorbell. Why wouldn't they ring it? Anyway, so it's one of those doors with a big glass panel on it. There's like a word for the glass, but you can't see. It's not like a window.
Like frosted glass.
I don't know. What is ours? I feel like it was kind of like that.
Like frosted, opaque.
Yeah, I don't know.
Glass.
Basically, like it's glass, but it's not like a window. You can't just see directly in.
It's like ornamental.
Yeah, but you can see through it in a like you can see shapes and stuff like that.
Translucent, not transparent.
Yeah, like you can see shapes and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, they couldn't see, like, she couldn't see anyone outside. She could tell that, they couldn't see her directly inside, but they could tell that there was, like, lights on, the TV was on, like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's basically what her door is. So because of this, Sarah basically figured she couldn't ignore it because I guess, like, the door kind of went directly to the living room, so you could see that the TV was playing something and all that stuff. So
Sure.
she wanted to just ignore it, but she's like, I kind of can't.
Yeah.
Because they can tell I'm right the fuck here. Which leads me to believe it's, like, early 2000s, because I would 100% fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit if they can see the TV. I'll turn that shit up. Yeah, I'm right here, bitch. Like, I don't want to answer the door.
Can't hear you. Gotta ring it louder.
Exactly. Ring the doorbell louder somehow. So, yeah. Couldn't ignore it. So, as she's kind of going over these options in her head, whoever's at the door knocks again. She's like, can I ignore her? I don't really know. Another knock. So, this time she realized that Chloe was gone. The dog was, like, gone. And usually when someone knocks at the door, the dog, I guess, her dog, she said specifically, like, bolts to the front door, was excited.
Yeah.
So she went to the front door to see the dog. Dog wasn't at the front door.
That's
Weird.
odd.
Weird, right? So apparently Chloe was actually, Sarah found Chloe at the back door, like crouching at the back door, like wanting out, like out the back of the house, essentially.
Shit.
So kind of what I was saying with like animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this made Sarah even more uneasy because this is like super weird for the dog. The dog's always like at the front door when someone's there wanting to like know who it is. So the fact that on no basis, like this is the one time it's like freaked out and wanted to fucking get as far away from the front door as it can, essentially. She was like, what? She was like very, not scared, but uncomfortable, I guess, with the situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, she even tried to like get Chloe back into the crate, but like Chloe wouldn't leave the back door, essentially. So Sarah also yelled up to her husband to try to get his attention, but he was in the shower, so he couldn't hear her. Okay. And then another knock comes to the door, so these fuckers are persistent.
That's just, again, kind of the theme of, like, it's past the point of, okay, just move on.
Right, exactly. Like, it's their third time knocking. Like, you've seen movement. Essentially, Sarah, like, came to the door to find the dog, wasn't there, and walked away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at this time, with a third knock, a car drove by on the street, so because of the headlights, Sarah could see two silhouettes of small children at her front door.
Okay.
So this made her feel better, as, like, you would think it kind of would.
Yeah.
If it wasn't fucking demons, whatever the fuck.
Demon children.
Yeah, she basically thought it was, like, some local neighborhood kids, maybe still trick-or-treating, or, like, needed something, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all the trick-or-treaters, like, they're probably gone, so there's probably some kids that live around here. So she got to the door, turned the porch light on, and, still saw the outlines of the small children. So she was kind of wondering, like, are they kids from the neighborhood? Are they trick-or-treaters? Like, it's pretty late, all that. But she's like, I'm going to open the door. So she opens the door, but she opened it very slightly. Like, essentially she said enough to look out, but not enough for Chloe to be able to run out.
Okay.
So, like, probably, I think she was, like, say, like, less than a foot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, dog can't get out. She can look out, but, like, nothing can really get in or out type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So immediately, Sarah noticed that neither of the kids were wearing costumes. They were wearing, like, normal street clothes. They didn't say trick or treat. Like, no mention of it being Halloween. Like, none of that.
They're not getting jack shit from me.
Which is weird as fuck for kids on
Those kids
Halloween.
are getting toothbrushes.
Those kids, they're getting a fucking kick in the ass on their way off my porch. You're not gonna say trick or treat to me?
The audacity.
So now it's trick.
Trick, bitch.
Because it's not treat.
Get the fuck out.
So immediately, the like wave of uneasiness is back. Because she was like, oh, it's kids, they're trick-or-treating. Opens it up, not trick-or-treating.
Something's wrong.
And you're like, what the fuck is happening? So it's one girl and one boy, so a pair, like always. Or like normal. So the girl was on the left, and Sarah said she kind of looked like around 11 or 12. She could tell that she was blonde, but couldn't really tell much else, because it wasn't super light out there. And I think they kind of like had their heads down a little bit, which also is like a thing they do. Mm-hmm. Like you can't see their eyes for a while. And the boy, she said, was around like 8 or 9, light brown hair, and was about a foot shorter than the girl. Pretty tall girl, I feel like. I feel like an 11-year-old girl and like a 9-year-old boy aren't that different in height.
Don't girls grow faster?
Is
that a thing?
Do they, man? I don't fucking know. I don't know anything about kids.
I grew late, so I don't know.
I used to
be super short.
I just didn't really grow. I'm 5'10". Fucking short king. So the girl spoke up, as tends to be the theme. The older one's kind of like the leader.
Yeah.
The girl spoke up and said, quote, "Ma'am, can we please come inside and use your phone to call our mom?" So again, the classic, like, they need a reason to come inside. Something the kids would say, like, we need to call our mom.
Yeah.
So even though she was very polite...
Well, also definitely could not have been the last couple of years because those kids would have had iPhones.
That'll come up.
Oh.
Well, not the iPhone thing, I guess, but...
Okay.
So even though, yeah, she was really polite, but Sarah said, like, she just had a feeling in her stomach that, like, something wasn't right about the situation. Sarah also thought that it was odd that a 12-year-old... So this is what she said. The 12-year-old in these times doesn't have a cell phone. Didn't say iPhone or smartphone, which is why I'm thinking, like, it's not super recent, but it's recent enough to expect a 12-year-old to have a cell phone.
Call it the last 10 years,
Yeah.
not the last 3.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was like, that's odd. The pit in her stomach, I think, was not related to the cell phone thing.
Yeah.
But, like, this was, like, also, like, even logically, it kind of was weird. So essentially, Sarah responded, asking the girl, like, don't you have a cell phone? Which is funny. I don't know why. That's just funny being like, an adult being like, where the fuck is your phone?
I've got my phone. Where's yours?
You can't use my phone.
My phone's better.
So after asking this, the two kids, like, looked at each other as if they were talking, like, having a conversation, but nothing was said.
That's even creepier than talking.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that. So apparently they looked at each other, not for, like, a second, for, like, some time, as if there was
Like,
a conversation.
going back and forth.
Yeah, but, like,
telepathically.
in their head, I guess, yeah. But, yeah, neither said anything. And Sarah said this interaction was weird as fuck. The girl then said to Sarah, quote, "Ma'am, my cell phone battery doesn't have any charge left in it. Can we please come inside and call our mother? We're alone out here and my brother is scared." And I think this is kind of another theme. Their sentences make sense, but they're a little bit weird.
My cell phone doesn't have any charge left in it. That's like
who
something I
says
would
that?
expect from like a 70-year-old
Yeah.
grandma that like just got a
Like
cell
a 12-year-old would be like, my battery's dead.
Yeah.
Or like, it's just dead. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like,
It
it's
doesn't have any charge left
it's
in it.
it's correct, but it's a weird thing to say.
It's not wrong, but it like a little bit.
Right. So, at this moment, Sarah said she had two competing feelings, as I think a lot of people do that are in these stories.
Yes.
One is like motherly instinct to help him out, not only just in general, but she also does have a kid.
Yeah, I think that's just a theme too. Is like the direct conflict between like the maternal instinct and this is not right.
Which is probably why they take the form of kids, assuming they have a choice. Maybe
that's
they don't.
an interesting theory.
Yeah, maybe they don't have a choice, but like, as if your whole thing is you need to be let in somewhere, being a kid's the best way to go about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if an adult comes to your house like that, you're probably not even gonna open the fucking door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that instinct of like motherly wanting to help out, but she also just had like a continually worsening feeling of fear. Like as it went on, it was like getting worse.
Yep. That
There was-
tracks again.
yeah.
Like same shit as Brian's.
And she was like, that was essentially keeping my mother instincts from like taking over. She was like, that fear, like getting worse and worse and worse, was stopping me from like helping them just because I feel like I need to.
Yeah.
So, kind of going back to what we were saying earlier, she then noticed that she had unknowingly opened the door about an extra 6 inches. Kind of like the whole unlocking the car thing. Like, yeah.
Damn.
This is 6 inches. But yeah, so apparently she was just like, had just like slowly opened the door and not really noticed it. So again, like the whole subconscious physical action type stuff, which is, that's like, I don't know, the like creepiest part to me.
Yeah.
Is that they can almost like make you let them in a little
They
bit.
need permission,
Right.
but like
they can really like nudge you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she didn't mean to whatsoever. So she then asked for their mom's number, which is a fair thing. She was like, I'll go back inside, I'll call her for you, just stay out here. And I don't know, that makes sense to me. Yeah. But again, the kids did that weird little like turn to each other and like speak but not speak thing. And the girl said after this little conversation, "Ma'am, my little brother has to use your bathroom. Can we please come inside while you call our mom?" So switched up. Like got a new reason to need to come inside.
Okay.
Because they're like, that's logical. Maybe like we could just give her a number, so now I need a new out. Like how do we get in the house? It's like, oh, I need to use the bathroom. Yeah. So they still have a reason to need to come in, even if the mom is being called. So as the girl said this too, she also moved closer to the door, like took a step closer, as if she's like, you know, trying to just like get Sarah to like let him in. She literally said like, I didn't write the quote down, but it was essentially something saying like as if she was just gonna walk right past me, even though we know they won't do it. But like I get like the confidence, I guess, that she stepped forward with made it look like she was just gonna keep going.
Interesting.
Yeah. As the girl did this, she also stepped more into the light though, so Sarah could get a better look at her. And the first thing that she noticed was completely black eyes. So immediately, any sort of hang-on from the motherly instinct just disappeared and was replaced by complete terror.
I couldn't even tell you how fast I would slam that door. Like, fuck no.
I would fucking kick the kid in the face, slam the door. Like, what fucking roundhouse that motherfucker in the chin. So
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Yeah, so she did this, and Sarah closed the door to the point where she, like, just her face was able to poke out. She didn't even slam it, which is wild to me. But she, like, put it so, like, it's, like, literally just her face in the crack of the door.
I would have slammed the door so hard, her eyes would have popped out like jello.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but anyways, so Sarah did this. You know, she could barely see out, and the girl pleaded, saying, "We're really scared and alone out here. We have to come inside. Please help us." And like a light switch, both kids started crying at the same exact time.
They're like going down a checklist. Like, this doesn't work. This is phone. Nope. Bathroom. Nope. Fuck it. We're crying.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly what it is. And at that moment, she seemed to realize, like, that was weirdly timed. Like, they both started crying at the exact same time. She slammed the door and locked it. So she yelled out to the kids that she would still call their mom if they just gave her the number, but by no means was she going to let them inside the house. And the kids said nothing, but continued to just stand there and stared at her, like, through the door, like, looking right at. And so she said she wanted to run up. Sarah said she wanted to run up and get her husband, but she also, like, didn't want to let the kids out of her sight.
I get that.
Yeah, she was like, I couldn't do it because I didn't want to, like, take my eyes off them in case whatever the fuck happened. So what she did is she, took out her phone and she called her neighbor that lived across the street. So, well, she didn't call it right away, though. So essentially what had happened is that was, like, what she was going to do, right?
Okay.
So she had her phone out and started to dial, and the kids started backing away, which is so weird because, like, you can't really see through there. You can just kind of see. It's like they knew.
Like a shadow and movement.
So they started to back away when she started to dial it, but she hadn't made the call yet. And the kids, like, had backed towards the street, and they stopped under a streetlight, fucking creepy as shit, still staring straight through the door right at her.
What the fuck?
The whole time, right? And she was looking out back at them, like, on her phone, but looking back at them. So finally she, like, lifted her phone to ear to actually make the call, and then the kids started walking away down the street. So she made the call, she called her neighbor, and she actually met her neighbor under the streetlight, like, a minute or two later, and the kids had just, like, completely disappeared. Like, the same shit, like what you were saying, like, they should have been able to be seen at some point still.
Yeah.
Gone. Completely gone. And that's that whole story.
That's fucking eerie.
Yeah. Very eerie.
Okay, fuck. All right, well, I'll raise you one story.
Do it.
So this one I kind of had to dig to find. So kind of like what Tanner mentioned, I found a couple different articles with, like, conglomerations of stories, but each one was just like a paragraph. So I knew I'd, like, heard of this one before, so I was really digging to find it. I'm talking, like, third page of Google, guys.
That's the dark web to me.
Like, I don't know how you can expect me to do any more than that. Like, I need a Pulitzer for this.
We should be getting paid for that kind of research.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I had to kind of dig to find this. So this is kind of pulled together from a couple different accounts, but this story comes from an anonymous woman in Vermont. And one winter night around 2 a.m., she was woken up by a sudden loud bang, which is how every peaceful story goes.
Definitely.
And she looked out her window and saw footprints in the snow surrounding her house. So they lived in a rural area, and that really stood out. And
that's interesting because I feel like that's usually not the case.
Yeah. You mean like they live in rural areas?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's not usually like in rural areas.
Yeah, so she lived in a rural area, so it really stood out that there were like footprints around her house. And to her knowledge, they had been fresh. So they were new, and there wasn't any reason it was like a neighbor or anything.
Okay.
And because they live far from everyone, they're like, this is fucking weird.
Right.
So she woke up her husband with like, I think somebody's outside sense of urgency that I can only imagine. But as they walked to the front door, they could see somebody standing there. And again, similar door where there was kind of like a frosted glass pane on it.
Right.
And because like moonlight reflects the snow, they could see that somebody was there.
Right.
And so they answered the door together, but she was behind her husband. Her husband opened the door, and they were surprised to see two small kids standing there. Outside of the obvious reason that it was odd, like two kids show up at your rural house in the middle of the night.
Already super
glossing
weird.
over that.
Okay.
The woman noticed, okay, this is weird for like other reasons immediately. First, despite trudging through the snow, they weren't wearing coats. They didn't live near other things, so it wasn't like they had like just come out of a movie or something and it had like snowed or something.
That is weird.
Yes, they weren't wearing coats despite trudging through the snow and leaving footprints around the house in the snow.
Also weird that they like went around the house.
Yeah.
Like I wonder in how many of these stories did that happen, like where they like scoping it out, but like the people don't know because there's not snow or
Because it
anything like
wasn't
that.
snow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And on top of that, she noticed that the clothes that they were wearing looked like something Mennonites would wear. And I had to Google this. Essentially, it's similar to like an Amish style of living.
Yeah.
Subtle differences, kind of like, I don't know, how a lot of different religions have kind of sects within them, but
Yeah.
similar to an Amish style of living. So think like very old fashioned.
Okay.
Weirdly though, they didn't know of any Mennonite communities nearby.
Sure.
So out of
So like,
place.
what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, they're out of place, not near anything, and not dressed for the weather.
Right. That's odd.
Yeah.
Definitely.
On top of the fact that 2 kids are showing up at your door at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And so this is an older woman, and she stressed that normally she wouldn't hesitate to bring children in because of like the maternal instinct. She has kids. I think this was actually like a grandma. So
Well, especially in like the situation, like it's freezing outside.
yeah,
Like all that stuff.
yeah. And so similarly to the rest of these, she felt incredibly uneasy for like an unknown reason. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's weird, but it was like subconscious. Like,
Right.
what the fuck?
Like the feeling is like past. Just like this is weird. It's like something's very wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And so she asked the kids where their parents were, and they simply replied in unison.
Never say anything in unison.
Simply, they'll be here soon.
That's so fucking creepy.
Yep. Which is as cryptic as it is foreboding.
What the fuck?
And eventually, the couple's parental instincts overcame their initial judgment, and they
Interesting.
let the 2 children inside,
Oh, no.
which was their, I'll call it, third mistake.
What was their first two?
Opening the door and talking to them.
Okay, I guess.
So the tone of the home, as soon as they walked inside, shifted immediately. Pigeon, the couple's unusually friendly house cat, instantly became skittish and wouldn't interact with anyone, not even the couple that lived there.
Okay.
And he even retreated into the kitchen, like the farthest point that he could get away on the
Right.
main floor.
It's kind of like
And-
what we were talking about earlier. And
Exactly.
the dog in my story as well.
Yep. And their unusually friendly house cat started hissing at the woman when she tried to like calm him down.
Okay.
And that was unusual,
Yeah.
obviously. So hoping to ease some of the tension, she left her husband and the 2 kids in the living room and then went to go make some hot chocolate.
Okay.
And as she returned to the living room, her husband mentioned that he was feeling dizzy. And so she put down the drinks on the table and turned on a light. And that was when she noticed the kids' eyes.
Oh, yeah, they hadn't noticed yet.
They hadn't noticed yet because everything was dark. It was 2 in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh.
they're like just starting to warm up the house. She made hot cocoa
Yeah.
and then they turned on the lights. And their eyes are black as coal.
See, every time I open the door, I do it with a flashlight to the eyes. Just to be safe.
Like a fucking bouncer. Like,
Yeah.
I need an ID.
Right in the eyes. Are they black? No? What about blue?
Yeah, they get shifty
You're
too.
in. Any other color, you're not in. What about the hair? Is it blonde?
I was wondering how far you're going to go with that.
I'm going to stop it right there.
Yeah, that seems
Because
like
I
a
could
good
go
line.
farther, but...
Yeah, I think it's a good line.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a drink of water. Let this one marinate.
Never mind. Keep going. You're good.
So they were, eyes were black as coal, and the kids either didn't notice her shocked reaction or didn't care. They just didn't acknowledge it.
Probably like they're already inside. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really ever seem to acknowledge when people notice that their eyes are black, do they?
No.
Like thinking about that right now, like none of the other stories, like when they said I noticed their eyes were black, it wasn't like the kids were like trying to hide them.
Yeah, the only time there's a noticeable change in the demeanor of the kids is when you start to either get defensive or like
You're clearly trying to like get out of the situation.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so the kids asked to use the bathroom together.
Once they were already in the house.
Yeah, once they were already inside.
Okay.
And they walked off as if nothing was strange at all. So they asked to use the bathroom. She was just kind of like stood there speechless and then just walked out, like to the bathroom down the hall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How'd they know where the bathroom was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of things.
That's true.
So when they left the room, she turned back to her husband, about to like engage in conversation, basically like, what the fuck? And her husband's nose began to bleed.
Oh.
And she turned to get him tissues when suddenly everything went black. So the power went out.
Oh.
And there wasn't a storm or any obvious cause. It was a really calm night. And it just went out instantly for no reason. And even though the power was out, she still looked down the hall to the bathroom because there was kind of a little bit of natural light coming in from
Moon.
things are just
Moon
lighter
and
in the winter.
snow.
Yeah, moon and
Yeah.
snow. And she could just barely make out the shape of the 2 kids just staring back at her from the end of the hallway.
God, I hate kids.
In unison, they calmly said, "Our parents are here."
Ooh. Ooh, that seems like a bad situation.
Yeah.
What are the parents?
Without another word, the children walked past her and through the front door.
Okay.
The couple watched as the kids walked to the end of the driveway where two men were standing by an idling car. They were described as 6 feet tall, with black suits.
You know what that sounds like?
Men in black.
Oh my god, it's the Men in Black. They're here.
And the men nor the children didn't react to any of the couple's attempts to get their attention.
What the fuck?
They simply herded the kids in the car, got in, and left. And a few moments, so right after the car drove away, the power came back on.
So that's... I'm confused. What was the goal? I don't
know.
They walked in. They got in, which is seemingly the goal in the first place.
Yep.
I assumed to, killed them or something. The power just went out. They left. There was some Men in Black there, and then they left.
Yeah. So where the story really differs is the kids got in, which
Right.
you said. So the power went out. The husband got a nosebleed.
Which is weird.
And little did they know, this is just the beginning of a tumultuous ordeal for them, for the couple. So over the next few months, 3 house cats disappeared from the house. And Pigeon, the first one, the really friendly one that was so suddenly super skittish, was found dead in a pool of its own blood.
What the fuck? Okay.
The husband developed an extremely, extremely aggressive form of skin cancer that developed at such a fast rate that even doctors were like, this is unprecedented.
Okay.
This is not natural.
We've never seen this before.
Yep. And there weren't any, the couple wasn't exposed to any known causes of skin cancer. They lived in Vermont. It's not like they're baking in the equator.
The kids had nuclear radiation.
Fucking maybe.
Okay. Chernobyl.
Yeah. And the woman herself developed similar symptoms to her husband's. Initial ones. No, sorry, her initial ones.
Sorry.
Or his initial ones. So she frequently had dizzy spells and got nosebleeds, as well as an onslaught of other miscellaneous health issues. Just kind of all over the place.
Okay.
And all of that happened as soon as those kids visited, basically. They were fine up until that point.
Right.
And all of that happened within the next few months. So it was like a 9-day difference.
That's really weird.
So that's what happens when you let kids inside.
I still don't understand the goal, I guess.
Just get in and
kind of... Was the goal for them to die? Or, are they getting something out of it? The cats were disappearing. Were they using them for something? Well, the one was just dead. They probably said, fuck that cat because he didn't like us. They told their parents, that cat didn't like us. And the parents fucking killed the cat.
They were like...
Well, the other ones disappeared, and they didn't find them. What was that, food?
I don't know.
I'm trying to find, a connection between the necessity to have permission to come in and the stuff that happened. Why? What did they put something in the house? I don't know.
Think it was... I think it's, demonic in nature. They were just kind of...
Demons don't need to have permission to be let in, though.
No?
No.
Where's that come from?
Angels.
Angels, really?
Well, supposedly. That's vampires, what you're thinking of. But, other lore to be possessed, essentially...
Yeah.
Is that, an angel can also possess people just like a demon can.
Okay.
But they need to be given permission to do it, whereas demons can just do it.
Interesting.
So, again, whatever lore this comes from. Vampires need to have permission to come in, the house.
Okay.
Demons can just do whatever they want. As far as I know, anything I've ever read about it.
Yeah, I have no idea. But it kind of seems like their whole point was just to kind of wreak havoc.
No, in that sense, yeah. Definitely seems very demonic.
Yeah.
But the Men in Black connection was there, which I thought was interesting. Because, again, I didn't really find that one when I was looking now, but I've heard it before.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like what I was saying earlier, it kind of makes sense because some of the, symptoms of, the encounters are similar.
Yeah.
The feelings and, the doing shit, whatever. I don't know. Did they need permission to come in, though? Do you remember?
No, the Men in Black just showed up.
Okay. Well, yeah, just showed up, but did they come in? Did they need permission to come inside the house? No. Okay. I didn't think so either.
Yeah, some of them just kind of, materialized inside.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But although there were parallels to,
Mm.
demonic themes with that, smells of sulfur and just kind of materializing in that sense.
Right. But then you got to ask the question is, I'm just going to throw this out there. All throughout history, when it's been, Men in Black are kind of like demons, have they always just been the Men in Black? Never demons. What if they just are the Men in Black?
It's a subset of paranormal shit.
No. Demons don't exist.
Oh.
It's just the Men in Black.
Oh, I see. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I just thought that was funny for some reason. So what do you think these little fuckers are?
Oh, dude.
We're just gonna close it out here a little bit with like some theories, final thoughts. I don't know.
All kids like this?
Fucking dude. Anytime I see a kid, I feel like I have cancer.
Dude, this is just like Timmy down the street.
I don't know why it baffles me you picked the name Timmy.
I don't fucking know. That's the first one that came to mind.
Turner?
Timmy Turner. I have no idea what I think of these guys. I did not used to believe in anything paranormal, really, until we started this podcast, and like it keeps coming up. The weird thing that sticks out to me with these is how kind of rare sightings are, but how many parallels they all
How they're like all basically the same.
and all somewhat recent as far as paranormal activity goes.
It's true.
And I don't know. I'm really intrigued about this. I guess I don't really know what to think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on a similar page. I like to think the whole like Men in Black connection, but I don't get it. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
This makes it seem like it's very much connected, but why is it connected? Like, what connection do they have? They said parents.
Yeah.
Obviously, that could not necessarily mean technically parents, but like maybe some sort of assignment to them, or it could mean parents. I don't know. Seems odd that they kind of have different missions though, because Men in Black don't just show up and then you die, right?
No, they always like...
They come to like cover up shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's weird. I don't know. And they don't need permission to get in either. Like,
No.
maybe when you grow up you don't need it. I don't fucking know. Or like maybe they don't grow up. Maybe they're always black-eyed kids and they're just always Men in Black and they just kind of work as a team. They're not actually parents and children the way we think of them. Because if there's some sort of paranormal entity, they don't need to be. So I don't know. It's odd though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea that there's a connection between them because they're somewhat similar.
They are.
Yeah. I feel like they're connected somehow. But the Men in Black are also the main theories that they're aliens.
Yeah, I don't know why. These don't strike me as, like, alien.
I don't think they are, but I also think, say there's the Men in Black connection, and the main theory is that Men in Black are aliens, because they're always weird.
I hear you.
They always have a weird shape. And then the theory is that these are alien human offspring. A Men in Black fucked a human and created one of these. So that's kind of right on both counts. Like, it is an alien-human hybrid, and it's also connected to the Men in Black, because the alien that created it with the human was a Men in Black. I'm on the train now. It has left the station. My mind is just like, let's connect all of them.
Which way, left or right? Fuck it, that one.
It's left to right, straight.
Straight. All of them.
Because
we're taking both.
We did that episode a long time ago, but that was like
our first one.
That was the main theory, that like Men in Black are aliens, right? Mm-hmm. Of some sort, like working for the government though. Like they're aliens, but they're working with the government to cover up
honestly,
shit.
exactly like the movie too. Like
yeah, kind of.
They're
but
definitely not human, but they're working.
Well, the Men in Black are human in the movies.
I thought you were saying they were alien.
No. In the movies, I'm saying they're human.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But they're working for the government to cover up alien shit.
Yeah, that except like the like fact that they're weird. They don't always look like they look human resemble, but they're not humans. Like most of the stories of them are. Yeah, they kind of look human until you get close to them.
Something's off.
Like you get close to them and you're like, yeah, it just looks a little bit weird.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's a connection there with the alien-human hybrid and the Men in Black thing.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think Men in Black are going on fucking humans. I think it's probably some sort of lab experiment between the two that the government's running. Or some private company. Honestly, it could be. If we learn anything from fucking movies, private companies are evil as shit.
Oh, yeah.
If they can make money off it. Well, we don't need to learn that from movies.
Yeah,
that's actually true in the real world. But like this specific thing I feel like has happened in movies before.
Did you hear about fucking Jeff Bezos' new boat?
No.
So he ordered a new super yacht from a Dutch shipyard that is so massive that it physically can't get from the shipyard to the ocean. So they're dismantling a historic bridge in Rotterdam for it.
What?
Yep.
Are they going to remantle it?
Yeah. But they're taking apart a bridge for Jeff Bezos' yacht.
I hate that.
Yep.
Because Rotterdam's nice, too.
It is.
But also, why would you build a ship that big in the shipyard if it can't get out?
I think it was literally, did
they build
that bridge
for
when we get
him?
there.
Or
they built it for him. Yeah.
Okay, I was saying, did it exist and he just bought it?
Oh no, it's like 130 feet tall. It's the biggest one that's ever been built. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Fucking
anyway, sorry.
Daddy Bezos.
Corporations are evil just collectively.
Yeah, I mean they for sure can be. I saw a funny video today on that same vein that was like, you know, fucking like all over Twitter and TikTok. It's like these fucking rich ass people that are like, here's how you get rich, and it's not, it's not an answer.
Oh yeah,
It's like super vague. Well, it's kind of one of those guys. But he's talking about like, oh, if you're starting a company, like don't start it in these states, whatever. He's like, start it in these states. I don't remember the states he listed, but someone like, you know, responded to it and was like, let's not pretend like we don't all know why you do it in there. It's because the minimum wage is like $7.15 an hour. Like it still follows the federal minimum wage. There's no taxes on their shit. Like don't pretend to be some sort of genius. Like we all know exactly why this is happening. And that's very true. Like Texas, I think, is one of them.
Probably.
Their state minimum wage is not higher than the federal one. So if Amazon starts a warehouse there, they can pay them fucking $7.15 or whatever the minimum wage is.
Yeah, like, that makes so much sense.
Whereas if they did in California, they'd at least have to pay them $15.
Oh yeah.
But if they did in certain counties, I think there's even county ones too, like that'd pay them more.
There might be.
I think there is. At least for like waiters and stuff like that in California, I think.
Oh yeah.
That's a thing. I assume it's a thing. Just like minimum wage is blanket 15, but like certain counties is higher. But anyways, that's kind of just the corporations are evil thing.
Big tangent.
Which really
okay.
just like fucking comes back around to like a corporation could be doing this lab experiment type of shit because they don't give a fuck if they kill a bunch of people, especially not old people. Who gives a fuck about old people?
We should do an episode on the conspiracy that like pharmaceutical companies have found a cure to cancer, but they haven't released it because it's cheaper.
No, that's definitely true.
Because it's
more lucrative to like treat it.
Yeah, they bring in more revenue treating it than they would
with like the drugs that. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm confident that's true. I think we've probably cured a lot of things, or either we have or we could, but they aren't trying because they know that it would be like make them less money if they actually found a treatment. Yeah. But I think they've treated some shit because like some famous people, like really rich and famous people that get sick with this stuff are fine.
Yeah.
Like, who is it? Is it Magic Johnson?
Magic Johnson.
He's had AIDS for like AIDS. 40 years?
Yeah.
And he's totally okay. Most people that get AIDS are not okay after 40 years of having it.
Yeah.
I don't know how quickly it kills you, but you're not doing okay after that long. You might already be dead. Not really sure how quickly AIDS kills you, but I don't think it's slow.
I assume it varies.
But either way,
it's
like...
definitely like a... Yeah.
I mean, there is, of course, like, if you are super rich, you do have access to better medical care, sure. But there's a point where it's like, I think he's just been cured.
Yep.
No. I would love to do an episode on maybe another, like, short, or not short, but, like, episode with a few, like, ones. I don't want to call them dumb theories, but that's what we did last time, but, like, dumb theories.
Yeah, just kind of, like, out there ones.
Yeah, like, they're fun to talk about. It's more like us coming up with random-ass shit. There's not, like, research into it.
I'd be down for that.
That was fun last time.
It was a great time.
Yeah. I'm, like, pretty much done with the topic.
Yeah,
I'm just, like, talking. Yeah. That'd be fun, though. Because what else could we even do? Like, fucking, they've cured a bunch of shit and just aren't selling it.
Yeah.
Because we've already done Birds Aren't Real.
We did Mattress Firm Launders Money.
This is a plug for our old episode.
I passed a Mattress Firm last weekend. It was at like 2 p.m. on a weekend.
Yeah.
The store was fucking empty.
Yeah, it's because they launder money.
Yep.
So plug for one of our old episodes.
It was a funny one. We also did The Earth is Flat, I think.
Yes, so we did those three for sure.
Giant ice wall, like Game of Thrones, around the outside, and it's guarded by NASA.
Yeah. So Birds Aren't Real, Earth Flat, Mattress Firm. I thought there was a fourth one.
I thought there was two.
Because I feel like we each did two.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think there was, but who the fuck knows?
We could do like a bunch of the stupidest mainstream ones, like we could do NASA faked the moon landing, 9/11. We could do
9/11. I fucking hate the whole NASA fake the moon landing thing.
Yeah.
We could do it, but I feel like there are some people like that listen to this that are. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. People that like actually think that's true. Have you seen...
Whose houses are made of tinfoil?
Yeah. Have you seen... You have Apple TV, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the show For All Mankind?
No.
You should fucking watch it.
I need to get Apple TV again.
Do you have an iPhone?
No, I had a really long free trial for a while, but I forgot that I didn't actually pay for it.
Do you use Apple Music or Spotify?
Spotify,
I use Spotify. Okay. Because there's a deal that Apple has that's really good that like you get Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Arcade... And then there's another one in there too for like $15 a month.
Okay.
Which is Apple Music itself costs $10. So like
yeah,
it's called like Apple One or something like that. Not a plug for Apple, by the way. But
we're sponsored by Apple actually.
But if you want to save some money and have some cool shit, and you already use Apple Music, like if you don't already use it, it's probably not that cost effective.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
because
like,
I already
use
used it,
Spotify, and you
right.
can get Hulu with that, and it's like a similar bundle.
Because I already use it, I was just like, fuck it, because I was trying to watch Ted Lasso, which is an amazing show also.
Top tier.
But this show's really good. I started watching it last night, and it's essentially like a alternate reality of the space race.
Oh.
Like, yeah. So it's very interesting. And I've only watched the first episode, and they're an hour long each, but I'm like already hooked on it. And it's really good.
I'll need to check that out.
It's called For All Mankind. Very good.
I gotta finesse somebody's Apple TV password.
Yeah. That's difficult though, because it's linked to your Apple ID.
It is, yeah.
That's what's hard, is like you don't just sign in with like an email and password.
Yeah.
Like it signs in like through your
Those fuckers.
Yeah, like it's difficult. Like when I sign in on like the Roku that I have, it's like I have to go through my phone to like allow it to happen and shit like that. So it's weird. Anyways, I'm done.
I feel like we should wrap it up.
Yeah, I feel like we should too.
You guys know the drill. Follow us on dude, I almost said follow us on Facebook.
Oh,
Fuck.
no.
I'm out of it.
What are you, a boomer?
I have so much beef with Facebook.
Facebook sucks.
It does. The only reason I haven't deleted my account is because my dumbass teenage self linked too many accounts through my Facebook. So like, if I deleted that, it would also delete a lot of other logins.
I had that problem, and I like took them off of it.
I don't see, my issue is I don't even know what I use it for, so I gotta like track that down.
Mine was like, it was Instagram, and I think it was Snapchat.
Yeah, I use Instagram through it.
But I like found a way to like get them different, because I deleted my old Facebook, and then I re-downloaded to use Marketplace.
Oh yeah,
and I have like 3 friends on there. But yeah,
Anyway.
fuck Facebook.
Okay.
We're not on Facebook.
we're not on fuck Facebook.
We're gonna get sued.
I will, however, plug a subsidiary of Facebook, Instagram.
True.
At the.rabbithole.pod. There you can find links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We'll try to upload YouTube more frequently. Trying to get one out this week. We'll see. This one will be up tomorrow, this episode, on Spotify.
Okay, I was
and
gonna say
Apple
on
Podcasts.
YouTube.
Yes. Nope. Anything else to add for the probably 3 people that are still with us this far into the episode?
Dude, yeah, I feel that, because even when I listen to podcasts, when they start getting going at the end, like I usually stop it.
I like how we address like, okay, we're done like 7 minutes ago. We're still
For real. No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, in that case, we'll see you guys next time on The Rabbit Hole.